Good morning, everybody. Don't go live a lot, but I am coming live to you from Casa del Reese here prior to getting over the academy and training. Just finished up doing some yoga rehab for my shoulder that's been bothering me for weeks now. And I want to talk to you guys about dealing with injuries in BJJ. And I'm going to start off by saying that injuries blow. They do. There's no way to sugarcoat that. Injuries just plain suck, and I've definitely had my fair share of them over the past 16 years or whatever that I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. However, in all that time, despite all the injuries, I've always found a way to keep on training. Now, to the counterpoint, I've seen many BJJ dreams cut short by injury. People who could have been great had they had the mentality to be able to train around a non-surgical injury or come back from an injury that required surgical repair and derailed their training for a short period of time. So probably at this point you're like wondering, well, what are the secrets that that have allowed you to overcome injury and continue walking the path of a BJJ practitioner? And they are far less secrets and more just solid advice collected throughout the years from coaches I've had, as well as doctors that I've had. So I have 3 bits of advice for people who might be depressed about an injury, and they all stem from first changing your mindset. The standard response of a BJJ practitioner to an injury is no, I can't train anymore. And this incapability to train often hurts more than the agony of the injury itself. However, the problem of the injury is not the problem. The problem is the way in which you are approaching the problem of the injury. I hope that makes sense. So how do we change your mindset? We start by viewing the injury not as a problem, but as an opportunity for growth. What's the old saying? Necessity is the mother of invention. That's what we're looking at here. Most times in life, there is a silver lining to every cloud. You just have to look for it, and a BJJ injury is no different. Oftentimes, injuries will stem from training while executing your A game, that part of your skill set that you are most adept at. When this occurs, the injury then keeps you from carrying out your favorite techniques. So instead of being depressed, look at the injury as an opportunity to work on a different aspect of your game. When you're unable to do the things in the manner to which you've become accustomed, you are then forced to discover new ways to accomplish what it is you wish to accomplish. Injuries can, often be the sound of opportunity knocking. Years ago, I suffered from an L5-S1 derangement that persisted for the better part of a year, maybe a little over a year. I dealt with limited mobility and chronic pain. And at this time of my training, I was a brown belt, and I was known as, what is often referred to as a grinder, pass the guard, get top game, offense-oriented practitioner of BJJ. Well, with that injury, my entire top-tier strategies and A-game techniques were gone. They were out the window. So at this juncture, many people would have just quit or took the year off. Instead, I viewed the opportunity as an opportunity to work on my ability to survive from the bottom. Let's put it that way. For the better part of my year-long recovery, I spent a great deal of time training from the bottom of half guard, crossbody, and mount, primarily because these positions put little to no strain on the injury. Secondly, because of my limited ability to bump, bridge, and hip escape, I was simply unable to reverse these positions and achieve a more preferable and dominant position to work from. So right about now, you're probably figuring, well, that sounds like a really sucky time. And you would be 100% correct. It really was a sucky time. During that first 6 months, I was submitted more times than I even care to remember. And, insult to injury, oftentimes it was being submitted by lower ranks that should not have been able to submit me. However, around the month 7 or 8, my defensive strategies became more defined and far harder to crack. By months 9 through 12, I was able to survive nearly any and all attacks thrown my way. So, due to this injury, I had not only developed a part of my game that was severely lacking, but I advanced it to the point of near impenetrability. Not perfection, of course, but as good as it could get. So what's the lesson to be learned here? Adapt and survive. Don't become that guy that used to train. If you have a finger or a wrist injury preventing you from gripping the gi, then train more no gi. If you have a knee injury that's preventing you from working takedowns, play more bottom ground game. Just don't quit. Don't use the injury as an excuse to be a weakling. So now we've discussed the mindset that you can use during a non-surgical injury to keep your training up. But let's talk about a few pointers that will help you make the best of a bad situation in which an injury is surgical and will keep you from the mats for some period of time. First and foremost, do not rush back too hard, too fast from the injury. Often people want to jump right back in to where they left off and make up for lost time. And this is going to be a surefire way to re-injure yourself, and the second time around the recovery will be much longer. Returning from injury is going to be a tortoise and hare situation. Keep in mind, jiu-jitsu life is a marathon and not a sprint. Secondly, you must focus on your diet and do whatever you are able to do in order to maintain a level of fitness. An injury is not a free ticket to sit on the couch and smash junk food into your mouth all day long. Packing on 30 or 40 pounds is going to prolong your recovery time from injury and make it even harder on you when you do return to full duty training. So run, swim, bike, do yoga, doing anything is better than doing nothing. And the final piece of advice I would give you guys dealing with injury is remain focused. It is important to keep your jiu-jitsu mind sharp during an injury. Watch and study video, read articles, watch competition. Choose an aspect of your game and focus on it. Choose an aspect that you've been wanting to improve and commit to the study of it. Use visualization and meditative techniques to train the movements that you're watching, and I guarantee this will translate to when you get back on the mats. If you're used to training 8 hours a week, study 4 hours a week, and then fill the other 4 hours with the aforementioned exercise. You're going to be amazed at what that alone can do for you. Just the visualization and meditative techniques can do to help you get back to the mat quicker. So that's my advice for everybody. Non-surgical injury, keep training through it. Don't do dumb stuff to aggravate the injury. Train around the injury, not through the injury. And for the surgical injuries, those are the 3 pieces of advice that are going to get you back to the mat the fastest. So hopefully I see everybody on the mat much sooner than later. See you guys soon.